Welcome to our council meeting. We will call our meeting to order at this time. Ms. Stennett, if you would, please do our invocation. Ms. James, lead us in the pledge, please.
Make our beginning in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Lord, thank you for bringing us together to do your bidding for the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Lord, thank you for the citizens who rose to the occasion for the tornadoes and for the virus, and for our city employees, Lord, who showed once again their capabilities and going over and beyond the call of duty. Lord, we pray that we may serve you with all we say, think, and do. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda tonight is a reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting. Members of council have had an opportunity to review these. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, communications from the mayor. Well, it's been a while since we've had our meeting, of course, and we've had quite a few turn of events since we've had our last meeting. As everyone knows, we had a tornado that come through our city, and I hate to start thanking people because I know I'm going to leave somebody out, but I am going to try to highlight some of them, some of them that I can remember. First of all, to our interim city manager, Mr. Helton. He was at the helm through this whole thing. He done an excellent job of guiding this city and getting us through it. I think we're finally through the recovery stage. I like to personally thank him. He spent countless hours down here that first week and that weekend. Just say a big thank you. He was a tremendous asset. You know, his experience from the past of going through it in Ringo was certainly helpful. And he done a good job of leading us through this crisis that this city's never gone through. And a big thank you for all the department heads, especially our public works department. I know the first week in the recovery process, just about all of them averaged somewhere around 30 hours overtime that week. So it was an extremely hard effort on their part, but I think we done an excellent job of getting these streets clean. We're still in the process of it, and of course it seems like the brush piles are kind of growing as we go. I know you citizens, some of you are still getting some of it out of the backyards, and we can't get it as quick as we did the first 2 weeks, but I assure you, if you put it out there, we're going to get it. And the reason we can't get it as quick is because we don't have near as much help. I'd like to thank the city of Ringo. They sent manpower and equipment. Catoosa County sent manpower and equipment. And an unheard of effort, the Department of Transportation was here with us for 2 weeks. And they had some massive equipment that, just to be honest with you, we could not have handled had it not been for them. So, you know, once again, the team effort here in North Georgia showed through. The countless volunteers that showed up. I mean, the next day we had people with chainsaws helping some of these elderly people that didn't have any help. And it was, as bad as the crisis was, it was amazing to see what a community can do when they come together. And that's what happened here. You know, we had help coming. I had phone calls, you know, just saying, give me an address, tell me where I need to go. And really and truly, if you drive around this city now, you would never be able to tell that disaster happened here 2 weeks ago, with the exception of a few areas. Just keep, you know, we had some homes that were destroyed in this thing. So let's just keep all those families and people in our thoughts and our prayers. And, you know, keep your ears open if you hear a church or an organization that's doing something, fundraisers or something for these people. I mean, I know times are hard, a lot of people's out of work, but, you know, let's do like we always do. Let's come together for this community. And just a big thank you to everyone that's helped. And I mean, it's countless numbers of people, whether you were volunteering. I mean, we had people bringing us cookies out there when we were out there working. People bringing us sandwiches. We had churches that fed these people. So just a big thank you for everything that you've done. We appreciate it. If you need any more help or any assistance, just call City Hall. We're here for you. We're here to help you. If you need help, just call City Hall. And I assure you that myself or Mr. Help or somebody will get back in touch with you. But again, a big thank you to the city for all the help, the volunteers. Just a great big thank you. And God bless you for it. Next item on the agenda, which is going to be kind of quick tonight, folks. We don't have a whole lot on here, so I'm going to go through it pretty quick. Zoning matters, we have none. Ordinances, we have none. Resolutions, we have none. Unfinished business, we have none. Reading of city clerk of any communications, we have none. New business, we did have some, but we did strike it until our next meeting, so we have none under new business. Our next item and our next item after that is probably going to be some of the most important ones. I think it's important for you people to hear from your city leaders, and that's why we're doing this tonight. So you're probably going to hear a lot more from the council people and from Mr. Helton than you would on a normal basis. But, you know, you people need to know that we're here for you, and that's why we're doing this tonight. So next item on the agenda is City Manager's Report. Mr. Helton.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You know, the last time that we met here on March the 23rd, we were continuing our preparation in the pandemic threat that was approaching our city and it was already in our state. Much has happened since then. At that evening meeting, the state of Georgia had 800 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 26 deaths. Catoosa County had not had a reported case yet. As of today, as opposed to a month ago with 800, we have in the state of Georgia 23,773 cases, 942 deaths, and Catoosa County stands at 46 cases as of today. So, as you all are aware, the mayor issued our emergency resolution number 2020-04 on March the 21st relating to our pandemic health emergency. And again, on April the 1st, as things were increasing and winding up in our area, Mayor Gray issued a second health resolution, 2020-05. Things were moving quickly at that time frame. You could see them clearly approaching, coming up I-75 towards our community. In addition to many other items that were addressed within the resolutions, the procurement system was mentioned, allowing for certain emergency flexibilities during the length of the resolution. The next day after the mayor's last resolution, the governor issued his shelter-in-place order, which superseded all the city and county orders. Well, in keeping with the spirit of the mayor's resolution and its original design, I provided you a packet of items that are related to that so you all could see transparently what's been happening with these orders. I wanted you to have those copies of things involving our procurement system. Item A in your packets is simply a list of items that have been purchased as of April 15th, and that list is related to COVID-19 projects. Most of those, you'll see they're not outside of a budget line in any way, except for the one. These purchases were being made just to make sure that we have adequate inventory and stock of things as we saw this pandemic threat coming. But they're listed on here because they're related to COVID-19. The only item that would have been outside that purchase, the normal purchase requirement, would have been a tire purchase. We got word through sources that it's expected that because of this pandemic that certain tire manufacturers were going to close because of the pandemic. Employees maybe losing employment. So we went ahead and acquired a certain amount of tires for each kind of patrol car that we have. And that's that extra purchase that you see is over the limit. I wanted to make sure we give each of you a report of those things. And item B is that actual purchase, evidence of that actual purchase. Council's aware that we've made many staffing adjustments in attempt to avoid employee exposures to this virus. And today, good news to report, we still have not had anyone come down with this virus. And that's the way we'd like to keep it. Generally, service provision and operations have been smooth. When we catch a problem or two, we try to jump on it fast and solve that. We want to keep our customer service at the top of the line. We've put what we want to call an internal newsletter together, and I think we send you copies of that on email, so that our persons that are taking the citizens' calls on our telephone lines all have the same source of information. The information going out is adequate, accurate, and current. So that's what that document's for. If you get that in your email, each one of our employees that answers calls from citizens have been utilizing that form. And I might add, recommending what goes in the next one that comes out based upon the types of calls that they're getting. So they've had control over what goes out in on that form. Currently, staff has begun the process of planning reopening procedures. We will continue to work with all our other city and county officials. I've noticed most cities across Georgia right now on the city manager's listserv seem to be stating that they're putting an aim date of May 13th or 14th in for opening their government buildings back open. And that's largely because of that's Governor Kemp's expiration of his health emergency. So we'll see how that goes, but the way it's been going, it appears as though he's probably going to stay with that date, but we'll see. And we are beginning ramping up our operations. One division that'll be especially interesting to watch how we key this one back up will be your courts. Because whereas they used to bring 30 to 60, 70 people in on a court night in that courtroom, we won't be able to do that again. We're going to have to stagger that out in much smaller crowds, and it can be complicated because we have to have solicitors, a judge, and probation officer, and multiple other players to be able to make this court happen and have many more court hearings with all of them present. So that one's going to be interesting to watch happen. As if the pandemic wasn't enough, as the mayor was mentioning, on April the 12th, a violent weather system came through and a tornado struck our city. Mayor Gray soon issued another emergency resolution, 2020-06, regarding this storm. The resolution likewise provided certain flexibilities regarding our procurement system, and that's item C in your packet. Staff likewise provided you this listing of detailed purchases relating to the tornado so far, and that's current as of 4/22. Two items that you'll notice, many of these on here were going to be done anyway, such as installing a glass protection out at the front desk. Some of those things were already planned. And you're building a renovation project. A window was going to be installed, but this thing's just moved it up. We moved all those things up. Two items that you'll see on this purchase list. One's a Bobcat steer loader. Those items, that device came out of SPLOST, much needed tool for this event, and it's going to be heavily used from this point forward as well. And then for the removal of the trees, there was a massive amount of trees on our Gilbert Stevenson Park and our walkway, and a private contractor was acquired, and those two were beyond the normal means, but and documentation for those are provided on those as well. So far, that's been proven helpful. So we did need to work to get the large trees removed. I'll have a little bit more info on those in just a moment. The storm seemed to strike our residential areas the hardest, without a doubt. We had over 90 residential structures impacted during our storm. Our business community also noticed damage. We counted 38 structures that were impacted. As far as city properties go, we had 3 vehicles damaged. Our public works, vehicle maintenance garage, and neighboring buildings, all on that same property, were each damaged. Our separate maintenance building that's here behind DFAX, very likely may be totaled, according to what we heard the appraiser tell us, because the steel rafters in it were broken. Dog park, our walking trail areas, and of course Gilbert Stevenson Park severely impacted with such a loss of trees. That was a beautiful park for those trees, and it's a shame. That first night, immediately after the tornado struck, it seemed like all of a sudden that the governor had lifted his shelter-in-place order in the middle of the night. I remember that well. You would think it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, people walking and driving on our streets, but there wasn't too much you could do about it that night other than tell them to stay away from any downed lines. But prior to that storm, there were already rescue crews and fire department officials rescuing folks out of the flooded Battlewood apartments. And the storm came through, and several of them stood through it. The rescue persons, the 911 director, EMA, and fire department persons stood through that storm, rescuing those people. So our fire and police department started responding to immediately to calls for help, and that helped the city understand the distance between one end of damage to the other in our city when we started getting calls of what's the extent, the distance of these calls that were coming in. They worked hard in ensuring that all the residents that actually needed rescuing got rescued. We were very fortunate and blessed that nobody lost their life in our city. We're so thankful for that. Didn't even get any reports of serious injuries. We had some minor injuries, but no serious. We were busy focusing on, for that first hour and a half, of making sure we didn't have any secondary disasters, which would come from an electrocution or gas explosion, things of that nature. We had to deal with those. In the next week, from that Monday to the next Monday, our city public works department and our partners hauled a total of 345 loads of tree debris to our designated debris collection site on Mack Smith Road, which was our first full round of hauling. That was just 1 week. It took one lap on every street that had something impacted. 345 loads. Those partners, Mayor Gray's already mentioned them, but I'd like to mention them as well. The City of Ringgold, Catoosa Utility District Authority, GDOT, Catoosa County Public Works, and Georgia Department of Natural Resources were invaluable help to us. Other close partners during this event have been our EMA Director, the 911 Center, Catoosa County Sheriff's Office, and Catoosa County Government. Our city departments responded very well with this tornado emergency. Especially affected in this were public works, of course, building inspection, code enforcement, recreation departments hit hard, and they've been working hard. Your finance division has been running well and hard through both disasters or threats to our community. Your police department and water, sewer, and code enforcement, as well as courts, Carol, all the other workers that have been assigned to catch these calls coming in, to try to answer these changes that would occur from one governor's order to the next, and on and on. As an order would come out, the phones would light up. So they did an amazing job at helping get citizens answers that they needed and resources. There were an elderly person on oxygen that needed electricity, things like that. They would pass on quickly and get the needs met. The Georgia Forestry Commission responded, conducted a complete tree impact assessment. This service is free since we're members of Tree City USA. The assessment revealed that on city property alone, we had over 100 trees down, just on city property. Preliminary loss numbers have been submitted to our EMA director, and those will go to GEMA and FEMA in an attempt to determine, with the city of Fort Oglethorpe along with all the other cities and counties in Georgia that were affected by this storm event, do we reach the $15 million threshold to receive federal aid? That still is pending, but our numbers have been put out there. I have some other updates for you as well. On page item number F is talking about your Lafayette Road water project notice. Pre-construction meeting was held on April 17th. This is regarding your project that's going to go in before your streetscape, so it's really important to be watching this one. Notice to proceed has been issued. Your start date for that project is expected to be May the 4th. There's a 90-day calendar to complete that, and then an additional 60 days to complete that portion of Old Lafayette Road. We specifically put in the bid documents that we want our portion on Highway 27 done first, so that we're out of GDOT's way when they come in. We understand that the lowest bidder in GDOT's project was Tally Construction. They seem to be a very good company for us to be able to work with in case they get on the scene at any time while we're still there. We're a very flexible company. On your Highway 41, there's a few notes there for you as well. The bore across Cloud Springs Road is complete. The pipe is in place. That project's moving along. They did have a couple-week delay as the crews that were down here had one of their workers that was exposed to the virus and had to step out for a couple weeks, so it backed them down some time. But I understand that person is doing fine at this point. Lastly, in your packet that has item number G on it is a March financial result. We've been watching the numbers close to date. So far, we're right along where we need to be. We haven't noticed any serious declines other than two areas. One is the amount that water and sewer is costing us. We've all been watching that trend go up anyway. We're still watching it not work in our favor. And of course, since our courts are closed, we don't have fine monies and things coming in. But everything else seems stable so far. And we determined that after April's numbers come in, since that's also involving the pandemic and the tornado, we'll be given that thorough financial review, and we want to see what all of it looks like. Let's see if we've actually been impacted negatively or not. You know, watch one industry struggle and another one seems to be going through the roof. So it may be that it all averages out as far as the city's finances go. But, Mr. Mayor, that's all the report I have unless you have questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hepp.
Do we know anything about those 46 cases? Do we know any, like, that's 46 total?
Correct. Since the beginning of the pandemic in Catoosa. So several of them are healed.
Of the condition, we don't know anything about the
No deaths. Just no deaths is all we know. We do know that.
Any hospitalizations?
Don't know that. They're beginning to put a law into place, and in fact, it's already in place, where they're going to start reporting very confidentially while the persons have this virus, that if the dispatcher gets a call to that, they can communicate that it's a COVID patient, but it has to be very confidential and it's very controlled because of HIPAA regulations. And as soon as they're off that watch list, they go out of that system. But there has been an emergency process put in place for that.
Thank you, Mr. Hepp. Next item on our agenda is city council comments. Mr. Childs.
Wow, where do you start? I tell you what, though, I'll reiterate what the chief and the mayor has said. Not only our city, but our whole county has really came together with all the pandemic we've had, the tornado we've had, and they have done a great job cleaning this mess up. We'll get back to normal eventually. Just be patient. But we've had people, as the chief said, that don't have a home anymore. So they've jumped onto that, which is outstanding. I saw neighbors with chainsaws helping people, friends coming from other parts of the city helping people. So as bad as it was, and to the chief's point, we had no deaths in this county or city. So, and I think we just had 3 maybe in the whole tri-state here. And I think it was some divine intervention with all the trees and the houses and all. But I'm very proud of all of our directors. Our mayor did an outstanding job. The interim city manager did an outstanding job. And the whole city employees have done an outstanding job. And I am so proud to be a part of this community and of everybody here, because you did an outstanding job, and I haven't seen any negative feedback on anything. Everybody's been very positive and patient. So I thank you, and hopefully we'll get through this and everything get back to normal pretty quick. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Mr. Crawford.
I'd just like to copy what Councilman Childs said. Chief Helton, the job that you've done on this. I mean, since you become interim city manager, taking over when we lost Miss Simpkins, and just everything has went from the pandemic to the tornadoes and everything, and you've just come in and took care of the city and made the decisions and stuff that we needed to make at that time, and ran a great department, and thank you for that. You ran your department as well, and it's I know it's tough. Like I said, hopefully it'll get easier. 2020 hadn't been the greatest start, but hopefully, like I heard somebody say the other day, my 90-day trial is about up. Can we get a refund? On 2020. But and the mayor, especially through all this tornado, Earl spent I'd talk to him. I'd get a daily report from him, and he'd be at the shop or getting everything what them guys needed to help. But Earl, I appreciate what you've done for this city, and these citizens need to know what great mayor they got, and the situations that we've had. The rest of our department heads, I know Jeff Long and Chris Simpson especially, those guys that they were putting in some long hours and stuff, and their guys actually, I think Jeff and some of his guys were at the transportation, whenever the tornado hit, they were already at ground zero, ready to rock and roll, because they thought of the flooding and stuff like that. So we've got great guys here, great women, great staff, and I appreciate everything everybody does. And I know the citizens really thank y'all, and it was impressive how much work was put in just a week's time. Just seeing you drive through there and the day after or the morning of, and it was a war zone, and then a week later, people were able to walk through the park and start utilizing Gilbert Stevenson again and things. But it was a great team effort, and I'm blown away. I'm like Jim said, it's amazing. It's a great community to live in. And I'm gonna close. I just want to say happy birthday to my wife. It'll be Thursday. Will be her. I won't say, but it'll be her birthday. But she, man, the way she has come through and took care of our family through this hard time, being a teacher, being a mom, being, just doing everything and taking care of us. So hats off to all the people out there and the parents and stuff trying to take care of these kids and doing homework and stuff. And like I said last time, my hat's off to you teachers, because I got it's a special place now seeing what y'all go through on a daily basis. So thank you, and that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, hats off to the teachers. I agree with that. Ella, her teacher's incredible. She's doing one-on-ones with these kids. Like, the amount of time that she's putting in right now, I just can't imagine. Like, when you're doing it all individual, and then Stephanie, my wife, just, it's amazing how much time they're spending back there with those iPads, which, by the way, incredible job, Tucson County Public Schools, having these kids ready to rock and roll on the equipment, and how easy they've made it for the parents. But it's still a lot of work. So, agreed with Craig, kudos Paula and all the other teachers. It's incredible what they do, and really thankful for it. With the storm, it was so humbling to see all of the people coming in to help. It was just incredible. We were out there, over here where I live, got hit pretty bad, and there was a bunch of cars, trees on houses and cars, and it was just like incredible. There's a group of people just going from house to house, people just showed up with chainsaws and gas cans, and some of them not even from the city, just showed up, heard that help was needed, and they came. And tons of people from around the city living, and people that live in other parts of the city that came to help, and it was just so humbling to see how incredible people are. It's just incredible. They just got up, knew there was a need, jumped in their cars and took off. And it was so humbling to see that, and almost a bit of a rebuke personally too. How, to see the people, the heart of people willing to serve like that. On top of that, you know, the next day, or that day after the storm, you see the GDOT trucks rolling into town and just jumping right in there and working, and Mr. Mayor talked about it, and Chief Helton talked about it, Ringgold sent people to help, Tucson County sent people to help. It was just incredible to see. But at the end of the day, our staff just did an absolutely incredible job. I'm so thankful for everybody. And I've heard so many comments from citizens about how thankful they are for this city and how quickly the cleanup kind of went and how smoothly it went. Inside of a week, you had so much done, to Mr. Hilton's point. And then, you know, 9 days after, the red light's being replaced already, and it's just incredible, the coordination and everything that went into that. So thank you, Mr. Hilton. You've done an incredible job, and the entire staff of the city. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James.
Well, I'll just echo what everyone said, because words are inadequate other than thank you. What else do you say to people? And I heard a lot of people say, going out the next day or so after you saw, they jump in there, it's just what you do. It's just what you do around here. And we're blessed to live where we live. We're blessed with the city that we have. We're blessed to have our mayor and our interim manager to jump in there and do that, because it's just what you do to help everybody. And like everybody said, people are coming together when they have to, and it's going back to the simpler things of being with their family and helping one another. And I think maybe you hate to say something good comes out of something bad, but I think it was a good shakeup, and something great has come out of something so bad. And I appreciate everyone. And like I said, words of just saying thank you, that's inadequate, but that's the best we can do, is just say thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stinnett.
Yes, sir. The virus, the tornado, let's hope that's the end of the things that we are facing. However, what we have demonstrated was the tenacity, the strength that our citizenry and employees have. Sunday morning early, I was on my way to church to film so that other people could see the Mass. And I see a city vehicle on the side of the road and someone working. Sunday morning. So I stopped to make sure everything was okay. And it was Mike Housley checking to make sure that the citizens' water was okay, that it was pure. He said it's done 7 days a week. That's a hero. Someone who does this. I didn't know it was done 7 days a week. Maybe you guys did. I didn't know. That evening, of course, the tornado hits. Our strength, our faith could have faltered, just like being thrown into a lion's den, like Daniel. But it didn't. Just like Daniel, we stood strong and came back. And we showed that that was not the end, but only the beginning, as Ms. James said, the beginning of coming together. Because the rougher it has become here, the stronger we see. And God selects those people to be heroes that are not necessarily who you would think. Just like a little boy named David who faced Goliath. We saw heroes come forth. That Monday morning, I was out after daylight and drove around checking to see what I could do with my little chainsaw that has a blade about yay big. Wasn't a whole lot. But what I saw were the neighbors, the citizens, people coming together helping one another, moving trees, putting barriers so that the power lines that had fallen over on Eaton Circle would not electrocute someone. That's what I witnessed. That's what I saw. I saw Councilman Crawford out that morning going to check on things. And I know the mayor was out. I think every one of us got out, and what we saw was unbelievable, because the heroes were not wearing red capes. The heroes had chainsaws in their hands. The heroes were making sure that the medical community, wearing masks, were able to get to work to save lives. The heroes were there, unfaltering, with no recognition, but they showed what it was for the citizens of Fort Oglethorpe and the surrounding area to come together, to bear the brunt of the storm, to do it safely and successfully in a short amount of time. So we can be thankful to live in an area where this is a daily occurrence, where people do come together. So God bless the USA, and as always, it's great to be in Fort Oglethorpe. We are Fort Oglethorpe strong. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Tennant. Next item on our agenda is citizens petitions. We do not have any of those tonight. Our next item on our agenda is executive session. I will entertain a motion to go in executive session to discuss personnel and real estate.
Motion, sir.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This council is in executive session. We are back from executive session. I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion, second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are out of executive session. In executive session, we discussed personnel and real estate. That is the final item on our agenda this evening. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.